Okay. So, yeah, I feel like I can't even start talking about the magician until I just fully break this pup down. The Fool is the initiation of the hero's journey. There's a lot of associations with it, but one that I learned recently that I thought was very interesting is it supposedly represents Adam, or like historically, it represented Adam having just been expelled from the Garden of Eden. And he's like beginning his journey into the wilderness and into the path of self actualization in the modern human realm. It's quite literally a trip. Um, and he has also sort of coming in with these two a little bit referenced here, this childlike innocence, some could say naivety. It is inevitable that the Fool is going to get himself into some sticky situations, and this is just the beginning of the major arcana. There's a lot of fucking beautiful and dark shit coming your way. But that's, true for all of us, and it also comes in constantly repetitive cycles. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a bit rambly, but there's so much to unpack here. I just can't get over that this card came up for the magician. Um, so yeah, he's beginning his journey. He's got total faith. He has this similar, like, embodied pure love and light consciousness. The feather on the forehead, which you'll notice is also on the little Child of the Sun card here, which is like the Sun card comes well after the Fool card in the numerical order, but at the same time, 19, 1 plus 9 is 10, and then 10 becomes 1 if you want to break that down further. So I kind of want to have the three of these together right now. Oh, I forgot what I was even saying about the feather. The feather on the right over the third eye, essentially, is like clear spiritual sight. You're operating on pure faith here. Um and you are connected to source energy. You are source energy. I'm again like, if you need to pause and smoke a little bit more weed or do whatever you need to do, I know this is beyond esoteric shit, but this is also what you signed up for. So if you find yourself feeling resistant to like how out there some of these concepts are, just, it's okay, just sit with that. um but for the purpose of this reading and all tarot readings, just be open to the fact that, like, none of us know anything for sure. So why not operate on faith? Like, why not take those first steps on your journey assuming that everything will work out? Problems are going to arise, but as you can probably guess, maybe my favorite figure in the entire tarot deck is the Fool's Dog. He is just like this spirit guide who is going to come in at the last second and bite you by the hem of your boot and keep you from falling off the cliff. Like, how many times has that happened? Even if you end up going through a struggle, ultimately you've survived it, you've come out on the other side, you've continued on the journey, or perhaps begun a new journey of learning and self-actualization and spirituality and all of these good things. um all right, so that's enough of the Fool for now, but I do feel like these two cards are really prominent. And I just realized I didn't really plan this, but I gave you your numerical order, but then my reading has actually gone backwards through them. So I feel like we've started with things that you've already worked through, like all of this emotional baggage and shit with the Queen of Swords and the Six of Cups and the Four of Cups and the Six of Swords. All of that stuff feels like it's in the past, or it's been worked through largely. and you're coming out on the other side, beginning a new cycle with that information. So the fool leaves paradise, journeys through the wilderness, operating on total faith. He's completely ignorant. He, is just learning how to wear clothes and how to need tools and need assistance and need to have faith because he is not living in the paradise of Eden anymore. He's in the realm of humanity. But he's not like resentful or upset about it. He's optimistically starting this new journey. It's just such a beautiful card. And the sun is there. I don't know why I just noticed that. It's like pretty obvious. So then we move on to the magician. He's kind of grown up a little bit. He's a little bit less of a freewheeling fucking hippie crazy dude. Like, he has realized that that isn't necessarily always going to be accepted or get him what he actually needs in the concrete reality of human life. So that's where the magician comes in. He still has this pure faith, total belief in magic, and now he's learning to alchemize and to manifest into reality using the four elements. So fire, wands, earth is pentacles. We haven't had any pentacles come up, which is interesting. Cups being emotions and swords being the thought. And then he has this like double-ended candle here, which is kind of interesting symbol. As above, so below. It's definitely a theme of this card. So in order to succeed in self-actualization, in creating the reality that you want to embody, you need to have this total childlike faith and optimism. That doesn't mean that you're not going to encounter difficulties. It doesn't mean that you're not going to also have to have times that you need to be, more grounded or realistic or do things you don't want to do. But in order to initiate any journey or any new venture, you have to, if you don't fucking believe in yourself, then why would you even start something if you don't believe in it? Even if you only believe in it a little, or there's like other loud voices that, the inner critic and things that are telling you you're being naive. But if source energy is speaking through the cards, it's pretty heavily indicating that it's okay to be hopeful and optimistic, and perhaps a little naive, because that naivety is just going to lead you to lessons and learning that's meant for you. Man, fucking crazy. I just can't get over that. I do want to touch on the Knight of Swords a little bit, because this kind of comes in with when you hit those times that maybe this blind optimism, you feel like it's caused some problems. Maybe you're overthinking a little bit previous decisions that you've made. There's a lot of chaotic energy in the Knight of Swords, in case you couldn't tell. He is sort of charging blindly ahead into the fray, for better or worse. He does, again, have this red feather in his cap of pure faith and yeah, I don't know, actually. Like, that feather is there. This is a difficult card to interpret, especially in the context of this reading and these other two cards, because it's kind of opposite energy. But it is sort of analogous to the Fool. Like, how are you going to start your journey? Are you going to be whirled up in chaotic thought, overthinking, making rash decisions, moving too quickly, maybe speaking before you have thought it through, maybe saying some things that you regret? I mean, it's not like the Knight of Swords is just a bad card, But it is just, it's, you know, it might behoove him to fucking slow down a little bit. Like, even the horse is giving him the side eye, like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, this is a rocky path, it's windy out, I might spook at something. Maybe we should, like, just slow down for a minute and recalibrate our thoughts. Like, look at the difference of energy between the Knight, which immediately precedes the Queen of Swords. You know, this is, maybe it's necessary for him to harness a little bit of chaotic energy. And he definitely has the confidence. Like, if you're gonna fucking charge your horse into battle, you can't be doing it half-assed. Like, at the very least, you need to believe that this is like the most truthful action, even if it is maybe a little hasty and rash, and it could have some, you know, unintended consequences. But he's definitely riding with confidence there. And maybe that is ultimately what needed to happen, because he's sort of breaking through the last of this storm and this fog, and then we transfer on to the Queen of Swords, who's come out on the other side. I mean, we even have like the same trees here. So, like I said, it's not an entirely bad thing, but it's something for you to assess. You know, where's your energy at? Are you feeling a little chaotic? Do you maybe need to slow down, or do you need to just fucking hold on and spur the horse and hit for the finish line? It's, yeah, this one's definitely, I think, something for you to meditate on. Like, I feel like this is some element of your life or something that's going on with you right now in relation to these cards, in relation to the beginning of this cycle, that I'm not privy to. Definitely think on this one, and think on like these three energies, you know, ultimately this sort of calm centeredness is probably gonna get you further than this chaos and overthinking and snap reactions. But there might be, you know, sometimes shit does come up that you do have to make a hasty decision and just kind of ride it out. Gotta have a lot of horse metaphors in here, but in fairness to me, there's a lot of horses in this deck. um, and also, I'm just kind of noticing that this, you know, they both have this gray horse. Again, completely different energy. And that horse is going to respond to your energy. So if the horse is whatever strange force that carries you through life, it is going to respond. Like, you get back what you put out, or how does that saying go? You get what you give out, you get back. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. So yeah. Man. It's fucking, this is a lot. It is a lot. Sit with it as long as you need to. I do want to draw some more cards. I'm just processing this. Like, there's a lot of really excited energy. That's another thing about the Knight of Swords, is like, it's not necessarily like he's acting rashly because he's pissed, or he's, you know, fighting good against evil. Like, this could just be pure, unadulterated, excited, anxious energy. And I definitely, given that this is like mental word related, I think if you want like an exercise to maybe slow that down a little bit, um it's cliche, but journaling, I feel like journaling would be a good thing for you right now, as there's a fair amount of swords and cups energy happening here. So, a good way to sort of force your thoughts to slow down when you're thinking about your emotions is to just write it by hand. I honestly kind of hate it. It makes my wrist cramp, and I'm a widow baby, but it does sort of like force you into this more meditative pace where you're still able to think through your emotions and process them in this like linguistic logical way, but it's also like an art form, and it's poetry and music. And yeah, I'm getting a little I gotta put this fucking card down because this energy is stressing me out, honestly. Ah, that's better. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Just take care of that inner child. You definitely need to be doing that, which journaling will also help. Free writing specifically. Like just fucking write. I'm sure you're familiar with that, but if you're really feeling this energy, whether you just need to write it out or like go rant to yourself in your car, go fucking sing, go run, like this energy needs some kind of constructive outlet. Um, Even if it's just like primal screaming. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I wrote a nice little journal entry and all the lines are straight and my handwriting looks perfect. And at the end, I came to this profound philosophical conclusion. No, like some of the most therapeutic things I've ever done, truly, like primal screaming, shaking, just like shake your body. You need like a somatic release. You need to fucking flat out gallop a horse until it is ready to stop running. Yeah, that got a little intense. But that's sort of the nature of this activity sometimes. But again, I think like to me, if you want to condense this down to the most high vibe takeaway, it's definitely these three cards. They all basically reduce to 1 or 0. Image wise, they're very aligned. Sorry, there's so much stuff in the background here. You can just like screenshot this, I guess. I don't know. I'll send you a picture. I'll try to remember to do that. Um, yeah, you have to have that trust and optimism and belief to begin these new cycles. Believe in yourself. God, I know it's so cliche, but what other choice do you have? You know? You can believe in yourself or you can be stuck in this for the rest of your life. What's going to be?